The year is 2037. The current president, Kanye West, is having a mental breakdown and declares war on the entire world. With the hydrogen bomb created during the nuclear arms race in the Cold War, Kanye West has the potential to destroy the entire planet at any second.
Breaking news! President Kanye West has declared war on the entire world! Kanye West has threatened every single country with the hydrogen bomb. If only someone was able to go back in time to stop the hydrogen bomb from ever being created.
The flashlight time machine. Have you ever wanted to go back in time?
Yeah!
The flashlight time machine can make you go back to any time period you want. Back to the Ice Age, the era of the dinosaurs, or even the Cold War. The flashlight time machine only costs $100. And if you buy one now, you get a second one free. Just pay shipping handling.
Hi, I would like to buy a flashlight time machine. Thanks.
2 hours later.
Wow, the flashlight time machine! I need to know everything about the nuclear arm race in order to stop Kanye West from destroying the world. Since my great-great-grandpa was a professor, I will go to his house to learn all the information about the nuclear arms race. Since the nuclear arms race begins on August 29, 1949, the date when the Soviet Union successfully test detonated its first atomic weapon, take me back to a later date. September 1st, 1950.
Hello?
Hi, my name is Henry. This may all sound a bit strange, but I'm your great-great-grandson. I came from the future to learn about the nuclear arm race in order to stop Kanye West from destroying the world with a nuclear weapon.
Oh my god, that makes perfect sense. Come on in. Take a seat.
Alright, thank you.
You're welcome.
So, can you explain how these nuclear weapons came to be?
Well, it all started during World War II. The first nuclear weapon was created by the United States to use against the Axis power. But this also created tension between the United States and the Soviet Union. During the Potsdam Conference on July 24, 1945, 8 days after the United States performed their first successful nuclear test, President Harry Truman officially informed Joseph Stalin that the United States were experimenting and creating tests with the nuclear weapons. However, Stalin had already known about these tests due to Soviet spies and scientists in the Soviet Union and had already began to make their own nuclear weapons. Then, in August of 1945, Truman ordered the drop of 2 atomic bombs on the Japanese cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
Wow, what happened next?
After World War II ended, the United Nations formed. A year after that, in 1946, there was the General Assembly, and a group called the United Nations Atomic Energy Commission was created to eliminate the use of all nuclear weapons. At the meeting, although both ideas were unsuccessful, 2 plans were proposed. The United States both proposed the Barak Plan, which said that there should be an international authority that controls all dangerous atomic activities. The Soviet Union proposed the plan of universal nuclear disarmament.
Fascinating. Please tell me more about these nuclear weapons.
6 months after the General Assembly, the United States conducted their first post-war nuclear test called Operation Crossroads in order to test the effectiveness of nuclear explosions on ships. Operation Crossroads occurred at Bikini Atoll on 95 ships in the Pacific, while 1 bomb was detonated on the fleet and the other was detonated underwater.
Anything else?
Due to the false belief that uranium was rare in the world, the United States believed that they exclusively owned the nuclear weapons and would be able to draw concessions out of the Soviet Union. However, the Soviet Union had a new supply of uranium in Eastern Europe, and the Soviet bomb was detonated on August 29, 1949. After that, both countries began to use tremendous amounts of money to increase the quality and quantity of their weapons. When the Soviet Union detonated their first nuclear bomb, it was almost like the beginning of a race. And today, the United States and the Soviet Union continue to race to have a better nuclear weapons than the other one.
Is there anything else you can tell me?
Yes, I'll tell you about the duck and cover drill I perform with my class. The duck and cover drill is designed to help us be prepared to duck and cover in order to protect ourselves in case we are attacked by a nuclear weapon.
Oh, okay. Can you tell me about the hydrogen bomb?
The hydrogen bomb? What's that?
Oh, never mind. Thank you for your time.
You're welcome. Let's go. Okay. Henry realizes this was not the time period he wanted to go to. He uses his phone to search up the date of when the hydrogen bomb was first created.
Go to December 1st, 1960, a date after both nations have developed a hydrogen bomb.
Hello?
Hi, great-grandpa. It's me again. I need you to tell me everything that has happened in the nuclear arms race since the last time we met.
Of course, come on in. So, after you visited me last in 1950, both governments began to devote larger amounts of money and resources toward making the bombs more effective. Both nations worked hard to create hydrogen bombs, and the United States detonated their first one on November 1st, 1952. Then in August of 1955, the Soviet Union surprised the US and created their own hydrogen bomb.
Wow, interesting. What happened next?
Next came intercontinental ballistic missiles. They were the most important and devastating weapons invented during the 1950s. With these missiles, a country has the power to hit something anywhere in the world, no matter where they were launched. The Soviet Union launched the first intercontinental ballistic missile in 1957. 2 years later, the United States launched their own as well.
Can you tell me anything else?
In 1940, the United States spent 18% of its total budget on war expenses. In 1950, that number increased to 32%. And this year, in 1960, the United States is spending 52% of its total budget on war expenses.
Thank you for all the information, great-great-grandpa.
You're welcome, great-great-grandson.
Henry continues to travel through time because he needs to learn more about the nuclear arms race to stop Kanye West from destroying the world in 2037. He decided to travel to October 28, 1962, the date when the Cuban Missile Crisis ended. Henry wanted to talk to the president himself, John F. Kennedy, because he had the most knowledge about the Cuban Missile Crisis.
Mr. President.
Hi, I'm John F. Kennedy. Nice
Hi.
to meet you.
My name is Henry. I have some questions about the Cuban Missile Crisis.
Take a seat, please.
Mr. President, I would like to learn more about this event. May I ask you what the Cuban Missile Crisis was all about? No one has told me anything about it, and I want to learn more about it. I heard that it ended today.
Yes, it ended today, thank goodness. The Cuban Missile Crisis has inflicted fear all over our country.
Can you tell me more about this event, please? Many people say it's better for me not to know about it.
It is definitely better for you not to know about this event. However, if you wish to know, I will tell you.
Yeah, I really want to know, Mr. President.
Okay, so, during the beginning of the Cuban Missile Crisis, on October 16, 1982, a U.S. spy plane flew over Cuba and saw the Soviet Union had nuclear missile installments on the island. We, as Americans, were outrageous and scared. We knew that the Soviet Union had the ability to launch nuclear warheads to nearly any city in the United States. I demanded that the Soviet Union must remove their missiles away from the island. However, they refused. I began a naval blockade in Cuba that prevented Soviet ships from reaching the island. We also prepared our own nuclear weapons for a retaliatory strike upon the Soviet Union. However, it wasn't necessary because after 13 days of negotiations, Soviet dictator Nikita Khrushchev agreed to remove the missiles. But we have the promise not to invade Cuba and to withdraw our nuclear weapons from Turkey. This is what happened during the Cuban Missile Crisis, and I am very glad that we did not have to use our nuclear weapons against the Soviet Union, otherwise the world may have been destroyed.
Thank you, Mr. President.
You're very welcome. Now let's leave.
Henry was still fascinated about the nuclear arms race. He wanted to learn how the nuclear arms race ended and the actions that were taken to try to end it. He found out about the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty. It was first introduced in 1968 and since then been signed by 188 countries. The majority of the countries that signed the treaty were non-nuclear powers and have agreed to not pursue the development of nuclear weapons. Only 5 countries are allowed, under the terms of the treaty, to possess nuclear weapons. They are the US, Britain, Russia, China, and France. Henry also found out that in 1985, Mikhail Gorbachev became General Secretary of the Soviet Communist Party and announced 2 reforms: perestroika, which is economic restructuring, and glasnost, which is political openness. In order for these reforms to be implemented, Gorbachev knew that the Soviet Union would have to cut back on its military spending by bringing an end to the arms race with the US. Thus, the nuclear arms race ended. By 1989, when the Soviet Union withdrew from Afghanistan, there were 50,000 nuclear weapons in the world, which is enough weapons to destroy the civilization many times over. Henry realizes that Kanye West has the potential to destroy the world at any second, and that he must decide not to use nuclear weapons.
Now I am going back to present day to teach Kanye West about the nuclear arms race, so that he knows what will happen if he uses nuclear weapons. Obviously, he will listen and end his reign of destruction.
In the end, Henry was successful in stopping Kanye West from destroying the world. In 2037, Henry Chung is a nationwide hero. Thank you for saving the world, Henry.